Back in 2016, I did a video in my car reviewing the 5 sexiest fall fragrances in my opinion. The reason why this camera is so zoomed in, because I was doing the same shit in my vehicle. The camera was pretty much in my ovaries the entire time I was recording. What was I thinking? Watching these videos and the fragrances that I put on this list is beyond cringe. Why was the camera so close? I have no idea. Let's revisit the options that I selected for that video and see if they're still relevant in 2022 as 5 sexy fragrances for the fall. Let's roll my motherfucking music so we can check these fragrances out and see if 2016 Cuba had a good nose.
I'm kind of a big
Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. This is your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. I don't know what I was thinking. I know that I was in the apartment. The apartment was mad loud. I didn't have space to do shit. The baby. It was a fucking movie. So I was really looking for any excuse just to record content because I love making content. And that hasn't changed since 2016. This is the most fun for me because I love interacting with you guys, talking to you guys, and really being creative and bringing out my true passion for content creating and entertainment. So the lists were comprised of the following fragrances, and these are in no specific order, but I'll start off with one that I didn't have a full bottle of. I don't think I had a full bottle of any of the fragrances in 2016. I just had samples. I actually have almost all the fragrances in that list. So the first one I selected as a sexy fall fragrance actually came out the year before I dropped that video, and that was by the house of Ralph Lauren, and that's Polo Supreme Leather. Let's revisit Polo Supreme Leather, shall we? As a child that grew up on Polo, I'm a fan of Polo. Ralph Lauren and I are like distant cousins, only I'm super broke. This is such a beautiful, easy, simple fragrance that is just compiled of an entire sliced up leather jacket made by Ralph Lauren. That's what it is. He took a leather jacket, chopped it up into sashimi, threw a little bit of alcohol in it, and stuffed it in a bottle, and that's what you're smelling in this fragrance. Very simplistic, slightly sweet, little bit woody, mixed in some spices, and threw in a leather jacket. It's absolutely fall appropriate, and it's still sexy, but not sexiest for the fall. I haven't smelled this fragrance in a little bit. It is bringing me back, and now smelling it's just such a very basic, simple fragrance, which sometimes, just like a recipe, sometimes the most simplest thing, as long as it's executed well, can smell amazing. If I were to rate this fragrance today, right now, which could change tomorrow, but today, fall appropriate, yes. Is it sexy? Yeah. Sexiest? No. But I give this a solid 7. It's a very good fragrance. Polo Supreme Leather, still a super fall fragrance, still sexy, not the sexiest. Next one. I pulled out a big gun in that video. This fragrance is still up there with one of the most stellar, mass appealing, sexy ass fragrances in the game. That's by the house of Amouage, and that's Reflection Man. Reflection Man. Still incredible. Still a powerhouse of performance. Still a very sharp, bright, slightly metallic, musky, super sexy fragrance that is absolutely perfect for the fall, but also all year round. I think it has a great versatility on this fragrance and is really one of these fragrances that had such a huge climb to hype and still is up there, but obviously they've come out with Reflection 45, which is a fucking nuclear fragrance that, don't get me wrong, is delicious. But sometimes you don't need all that nuclear. Sometimes you just need to bring it back to the essence, to the original core. And this one being on that 5 fall sexy list, I absolutely still think this fragrance is sexy. A lot of people are gonna agree with me. Some people may be tired of it, but those of you who are not in that fragrance bubble and are just stepping in right now, test this one out just like I did in 2016 with a sample. Next one. Oh, how times have changed. In 2016, there was a amount of people talking about this fragrance. It wasn't a huge buzz. I don't remember who was the first person who spoke about this fragrance. I remember perfectly when I got this fragrance, a sample of this fragrance. I got it in a sample bundle by my homie Katie, who actually still works for Euro Perfume. She's a great friend of our wives, and she gave this to me in a sample of fragrances that they had back then in 2016. Now, when I first smelled it, I was thrown back. I was like, wow, what the fuck is this? It really struck me as super unisex, but I had never heard of it or smelled anything like it. It really threw me for a loop and kind of opened up my nose to the world of perfumery and how those blurred lines of feminine fragrance and masculine fragrance really can skate on either side, because it's all about that pH. We're talking about Baccarat Rouge 540. Imagine, in 2016, nobody was really checking for this shit. Now, there isn't a fuckboy in New York, Miami, Cali, all major cities. Some fuckboy with a lot of bread or with a PPP scam loan has this on their countertop. This is a ton of people's signature scent, not just dudes, women as well. So would they be fuck girls? I guess. Yeah. It's still a super sexy fragrance. Obviously, there's a ton of clones of this shit, and as well as flankers of this joint with a little bit more performance, a little denser. This cotton candy, sweet, musky, super bomb is absolutely still sexy. Yes, it's a great fall fragrance, but this has not stayed in the space of a fall fragrance. This is people's every single day wear signature scent fragrance. So in 2016, I said that this was a sexy fall fragrance, and it still holds the same way, only now it's like a signature sexy fragrance. Next one. Damn, I've neglected this fragrance, I'm not gonna lie. This fragrance was a beautiful, I remember the first time I smelled this joint too, I was thrown away. And it was kind of like my introduction to the whole Santal vibes, to have that woody kind of essence really hit my nose. And it did just an amazing thing, but it's been a while since I've smelled it. And this is by the house of Montel, and that's Santal Wood. Santal Wood. I got that sample, don't remember where. I think I just bought like a sample pack of fragrances, and it was a gem. Yeah, it's still beautiful. It's just pretty much a hard sandalwood fragrance with bright muskiness and this airiness about it. It's a beautiful fragrance, also not complicated. It seemed to be in 2016 that a lot of the fragrances I was being introduced to, because that was the entryway for me, especially in the niche space, that simplicity was key. These were the things that were grabbing my attention, grabbing my nose, and I think it's great because the people who are stepping into this fragrance space, right, with very limited knowledge or just watching content creators. At that time, there were a few content creators, definitely nowhere near as many as there is now. Right now, it's like 1.7 billion fragrance content creators here that are all fucking experts. But it was a beautiful journey for my nose to really start expanding itself and really kind of like smelling all these little notes and formulations and nuances, these blends that are just like, wow, everything was so bright and beautiful. It's like seeing color for the first time. And that's kind of how you felt getting into the perfumery space. And some of that has died a little bit in me, to be honest with you, because like everything else, once you start consuming it in abundance, it kind of just loses a little bit of luster until you find that next piece that brings you back up. So Montel Santal Wood was really one of those fragrances that were so simple yet done so beautifully well. It is beautiful. There are a lot of Santal fragrances that have this same formulation and DNA, but Montel is known for being a projection beast and a performance monster, and this shit still keeps that same fucking energy. So would I still consider this a fall fragrance? Absolutely. Is it still sexy? Yeah, I definitely think so, but I also keep the same energy with a lot of Santal fragrances. So if I were to rate this one today on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this like a 6.7, 6.8. Still a beautiful fragrance, performs outstanding, and for those of y'all who are just stepping into the fragrance world and want to see how a great quality niche fragrance performs and really expand your nose palette, this is a great option. And last and certainly not least is this fragrance. I don't have a bottle of it. I don't even have a sample of it. And truth be told, at that time I thought it was just awesome. Now, not so much. I don't love it. It was starting to be a fragrance that I wore on skin and really started to just turn. My skin did not agree with Tom Ford's Noir. Tom Ford Noir is a gorgeous fall and winter fragrance for sure, just not for me. It doesn't do what I wanted it to do. it just ended up turning, and at some point, for some reason, it just gave me a headache. It was just giving me this kind of nauseating kind of headache that obviously made me feel uncomfortable. Noir at that time, again, it all goes back to that first introduction of these fragrance notes and nuances and things I've never smelled before. But I vividly remember going through that sample and having a second sample and thinking that this is nice and I would love to smell this on someone else, but on me, it's just not working. And that's the simple thing about fragrance that people forget. It's not the same reaction or feel or smell on everybody. Super duper subjective. Test, test, test. Don't blind buy. No matter how many times I tell you to blind buy, just don't. Don't listen to me. Don't trust me, trust your skin. I say that shit time and time again. Don't trust me, trust your skin. Go to the fucking store, buy a sample pack. On some websites, sell samples. Go to fragrance forums or whatever, get samples. Sample, see what it does on your skin. It doesn't make you wrong, it doesn't make me wrong. It makes our noses and our opinion on that particular fragrance and what it does on our skin different. Different is fine. I love y'all motherfuckers from the heart. Go watch that cringy ass video so you can see the camera pretty much just all up in my nostril, and let me know what you guys think. I love y'all motherfuckers from the heart. If you want me to keep doing these revisiting videos from back in the day, let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all bitches next time. You know it is biggest in the game. Smooches.
Cubaknow, what's fresh, who's best? One of them's gonna pass the test. Cubaknow.
For the fly gun holder, money folder, molar roller, start attack when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.